All right. Well, first of all, who is Hexagon, man, and how did we get so big? Again, like I said, we're the 10th largest software company in the world, the largest company in security right now, and nobody's ever fucking heard of us. So,
I can
uh,
attest to that. Yes, that is true.
yeah. So Hexagon, we bought ONSSI, which I cannot believe how many customers are still running Ocularis out there. That's brought a big base of customers to us. We also bought Nice Vision. We bought Cognify. We own Leica, and then TacticaWare at the bottom is really our that is our lidar vision product. And so we bought TacticaWare, is now named it lidar vision. And then the other big one is Intergraph. We own Intergraph, which is the world's largest CAD or computer aided dispatch. So NYPD, for example, we own and run NYPD, FDNY, and EMS. So we would say if you're dialing 911 in New York City, you are talking to a Hexagon system. And
Dude,
probably,
Leica, the camera company, the
yes,
lens
yes,
guy. Really,
yes, yeah, we
that's
own
a
them.
100+ year old company, isn't it?
Yes, that's actually who makes some of the high-end LiDAR, man. So that's our high-end LiDAR
Really?
units come from Leica. They're the ones actually we did. There was a special on National Geographic Explorer like a year ago. We went to the jungles of Central America and found all kinds of hidden Mayan ruins and temples using Leica LiDAR, man.
I didn't even know
Pretty
they.
wild.
I didn't know they made lidar. I obviously knew who they were, but wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
weird because my LiDAR, because like what I'm about to show you is, we're open architecture LiDAR, and my LiDAR manufacturer is a concern I'm selling Leica. And I'm like, guys, no, we own it, but Leica's sensors are like $50,000 LiDAR units compared to Alsters that are 5 grand. So I was like, just like we own them. I was like, we use a couple of their products, but we use their technology as well, That's what it comes down to. So yeah, man, dude, we own a lot of stuff, man. Intergraph is really cool because again, almost half the freaking police departments in the country are running our 911. So we are able to walk in and show them how we can integrate lidar and video and everything else into it. Not any get into. There's one of our local customers out by you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big DFW project. So again, man, we're involved in some big projects, and it's everything from video to lidar to we have something called Connect. I'll talk to you about in a minute, but again, some big customers still, blah, blah, blah.
Fucking
Dude, Empire State Building is still running Ocularis ONSSI. We're actually upgrading them this week, man. It's crazy, dude. All right, so what our whole offering is called DC3 now. Detect, command, control, and collaborate. Not going to bore you, but this is our ecosystem, and I'm going to show you today LiDAR vision. So I'm going to show you LiDAR vision. I'll show you Designer, which is part of LiDAR vision, and I'll show you smart sites and how it all works together and how we can work with you. And again, we got everything else from analytics to video to cloud video to Orchestrator, our PSIM. We renamed Situator into Orchestrator. Dude, you wouldn't believe what a market there still is for PSIMs out there. I thought it was a dead industry, and like we just won Memphis Airport a couple weeks ago, man.
Well, if you bring them in with all this, I don't see why you
That's it.
wouldn't.
When you bring them in with all the other stuff, is really what it comes down to. So when I present lidar, what I do is I get into what we call digital twins first. I start off with almost the finale. I show people this is kind of where we go into a full digital twin. This is a hospital we did in the United Kingdom. This is an indoor LiDAR scan that we did of a raw image. And then where we differentiate is we have what we call a Unity 3D engine where we bring in full 3D. So this is how you're starting to operate your systems now using LiDAR and video into this real world type of view. So, I get into doing a presentation with this, and I get into showing them, how you do integration with the video, integration with the LiDAR, how you bring up alarms, and, it ties in. To tell you what, a lot of this, dude, almost everything I'm working on is with Genetech systems or Vigilon systems,
Mm-hmm.
just bringing in this data into these maps and creating a
So,
higher level.
so you, it looked like what you've done is taken the video image and overlaid it on what the lidar image was to create that model I just saw.
Yeah, so I'll show it to you in a few minutes. So what we do is we create a point cloud lidar image, but then we have the Unity 3D engine built into our software. It's the same as what Pokemon Go uses. So that's how we get to that 3D level is using lidar and 3D. And we get into even this is a higher level smart sites where we this will show you a BASF chemical
Morning, sir.
facility. Actually, wait, this is pretty neat. So this is a BASF chemical plant, I think in Antwerp that we did. But this is going to show you not only the LiDAR, but then how we bring in 3D. So this is a raw image LiDAR scan of the outdoor facility. And then we get into what we would show you would be the,
Is that what a LiDAR raw looks like?
yes, that's what the raw LiDAR looks like. And this is how we touch it up with the 3D.
Wow. So you're saying the raw LiDAR actually gives you an image, in
Yeah,
essence.
actually, raw lidar. Yeah, it does give you an image. It's actually that's what how most lidar companies present their solution like that, but we add the 3D to it. So
No,
that's
I
the
get it.
big
I've only ever
differentiator.
seen it in terms of mapping, for example, mapping a
Okay,
racetrack for
all right.
a driving game, right?
Yeah, that's what a raw image looks like. And actually, I'll show you here a little
And
bit
that's
more.
just
So
millions and millions and millions of reflection points from the LiDAR
that's it.
image. Okay.
That's exactly it. All beams, millions of beams of light coming out,
And
and
then you
then
overlay this awesome 3D shit over it, and then you
yes,
can
because this is
use.
not only security, this
Oh,
is
fuck.
everything now. This is construction, planning, administration, whatever form of data you can bring, I can bring into this map and do this type of shit.
You're erasing the plant.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you can pull it back the other way to complete it. And this is
See?
pre and post. Yep.
Yep. And then we get into stuff where this is Atlanta Hartsfield Airport is a big project of ours. And kind of showing you the 3D, X-ray views of how you get into the different buildings and shit like that, bringing in the data. So again, this is high end, almost a different division of our LiDAR called the smart sites. But let me show you our meat and potato product and how we get to where we go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have LiDAR vision. It is our LMS. It is a LiDAR management system. All right. It is, I keep telling people it's about LMSs now, not about VMSs. What makes us different and what is a little bit about LiDAR. So again, LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging, where these are my features. So I can do 3D LiDAR detection with full volumetric alarm, meaning I know with spatial awareness where somebody or something is by 2 centimeters and up to 200 meters. So anywhere in a 200-meter view, I know where they are by 2 centimeters in height, width, distance, whatever it may be. I bring in the 3D maps to add to the LiDAR using our Unity 3D engine. And then I tie in my virtual planning tool and then AI integration with drones, robots, whatever it may be. Some features with LiDAR you got to realize too is privacy and HIPAA. I can now go into hospitals or bathrooms or locker rooms and not have any concern over privacy or HIPAA because I'm not seeing a face, I'm just seeing a human. All right. And then again, 200 meters by 2 centimeters and weather adverse. So I don't care whether it's snow, sleet, rain, or hail. I'm going to see through it, where video analytics is not going to be see through it. I'll send you a link to a YouTube video. It's pretty cool. It shows Tesla and other cars. So Tesla switched from LiDAR to video analytics, and they do a test with like a dummy kid in the road. They put a dummy kid, then they have a dummy kid with fog, with rain, everything. Every goddamn time the Tesla hits the kid, and every time the other cars with LiDAR stop dead on. So it just shows you how LiDAR is so much more better or more accurate than radar or by video.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what makes us different. I am open architecture. I don't care whose LiDAR unit it is. I have every LiDAR unit into my planning tool. I know what it can do. And I also know every camera. I got every Avigilon camera, Sony, or, Hanwha Axis camera in the system as well. And you can design it. We sell you all the LiDAR units, or you can buy them on your own. But it's just like video. Think of all these guys like Axis, Hanwha, and Bosch connected to a Genetec system, just the same. All right, where this is it. Shows you kind of what we do different though. This gives you a little bit of perimeter security. So this is showing you a data center. You got live video on the bottom. I have a perimeter around the fence. I track the people when they got into that perimeter. I have a breadcrumb trail on where they're walking. I have a laser lock onto their coordinates from the top, and I got live video. My live video is I control the PTZ. No more need for a live operator. I'm controlling PTZ with the LiDAR unit to the accuracy. So you have 3D, you got live video, and you have the map coming in. Again, unlike traditional stuff, radar, anything else, I'm going to know 200 meters past the fence, when they get to the fence, when they touch the fence, when they hop the fence, and where they go beyond the fence. Then you get into this is kind of how the LiDAR works. So this is a raw image, like you asked before. So that is a point cloud of what traditional LiDAR would look like. Where we differ again is when this guy comes out, we're going to take that traditional LiDAR point cloud and add our 3D engine to it to bring it to that next level. So again, we know where he's walking, where he's going. I got live video, I got spatial awareness, and everything that's happening, in that scene. So a little bit more of how we get to those digital twins. I showed you before the higher end. We just showed you a couple maps. How we do this. This is a basic like a doctor's office or something like
Yep.
that. So it doesn't have to be a large facility. We go in, we do a scan, but how do we do this? We do two different ways. We have a drone, and this is why so we can do these services, or like I was just talking to the consultant about doing these type of services as well. So the drone goes up. We have the software built into the drone. It does a grid like that. And we come down and we would create a point cloud. And so right here. So again, that would create a point cloud like that. And then we would add the 3D engine to it and start doing the artist rendering. And, depending on how 3D you want, we could just do basic LiDAR or start adding in these high-end graphics like that. And I'm doing a couple projects right now with private residences just like this. We showed the integrator, and the integrator's like, great, I got a rich guy that wants this. And shit, man, he gave me a PO the other day to do. He's like, I want stuff that looks like this.
So you don't have to. You do not have to have all that pretty picture imagery if you don't want
No,
to.
no, that is the high end. You can go basic LiDAR, and I'll show you some things on that.
He's walking around now doing an internal LiDAR map.
This is internal, so that's how you do it internally. That unit is a Leica unit. It is $60,000. We bring it around to the trade shows with us, and we'll scan the show floor and stuff like that. I found that's what will create that point cloud. The Wire guys up in Pennsylvania, big Avigilon dealer. I went to Mike Miller's office and showed him a demo. He comes walking out with one of these BLKs to go. I'm like, dude, I can't even get one of them. They're $60,000. So that's what he was like. Once I showed him all this software, he was like, holy shit, now I got something to do with this BLK to go. So handheld, and then we have handheld where, just is showing you like an airport situation. That unit is a camera, a 3D engine, and a LiDAR sensor all in one. What that does is it creates this. So this is a basic point cloud with LiDAR. And as you can see, dude, even without like 3D rendering and crazy shit, it's pretty good, man. That is a pure LiDAR scan with light imaging from there.
In a lot of cases, this is.
Yeah, this is what again, because it's the accuracy's there. But if you want the fancy shit, well, guess what? I got fancy shit for you here. So this is our planning tool. This is our software that it's called Designer. So we would take a 3D image, put it into our planning tool, and then this is for the integrator or the end user to test the system. So what they do is they would go in, and this is our planning tool. So I'm going to actually take a LiDAR sensor, and I'm going to put one up on the ceiling at this other end. And what this is going to do is show you so again, you can barely see it, but that's one LiDAR sensor for long range. They're looking for people in the tunnel, New York MTA. They want to know people on tracks, people on tunnel. So what my tool is going to do, we import it, we put the LiDAR sensors on the ceiling, and then I'm going to turn on the LiDAR beams. This is what they would look like if the human naked eye could see them. So these are invisible beams, but our tool shows you where your dead spots are, how you can start planning, and how far you can see.
Why is there a color difference?
One's going one direction and one the other.
Thank you.
Yep. And now see this? This is an avatar we put in. See that triangle on the top? That's telling me how many beams of light is hitting that person. To determine it's a person, I need 9 beams. That's it. And you see I was up in the 400 range. If that doesn't work, great, man. Let me just adjust this thing a little bit. Let me tilt it. Let me twist it. Let me turn it. And then again, turn on those beams. And like you said, the different colors are different directions, so you can have a visualization of where they're coming from. But right here, it would give you that snapshot. And I'd start creating and looking for those dead spots and things like that.
Does this tool allow you, for example, you go get a Google Earth image of
Yep.
of Giant Stadium.
Yep.
And draw the perimeter, the LIDAR
Yes.
perimeter around the stadium.
Absolutely. We
Okay.
just did Alcatraz. My sales engineer went on Google Earth. He imported the entire Alcatraz island, and he actually showed you, like, even show with LiDAR how it looks down the rocks, how it looks into the water. It was fucking wild just using Google Earth. So again, we can scan it, we can take Google Earth, we can then also take BIM models. We can import any type of BIM and create that 3D.
What's a BIM?
And then building information management.
Okay, thank you.
So most buildings already have them already. So they have these 3D models already, a part of their construction and planning. Like I was doing a demo for HelloFresh a couple of weeks ago, and HelloFresh was like, "Oh, hey, can you use our 3D maps that we already got?" I'm like, "Dude, where do you get 3D maps?" Every time their construction company gets done building a new building, they have a guy that walks around with a LiDAR construction helmet and scans the entire building for them.
There you go.
And I was like, yeah, dude, we can absolutely take that. It makes the job easier. And then we import it. And then again, like this one residence I'm working on right now, this is what the guy saw. Oh, I didn't even know who this private residence is, but the customer says, hey, they want their final result to look like this. And he's like, they got 20 mansions throughout the country. Yeah, it was crazy. The first one in Pennsylvania I'm working on, they said they got a private art gallery, and we have to put LiDAR protection where the Sally port that for the armored vehicles to drive in to transport the art to the Metropolitan Museum in New York.
Hey,
Like,
go get Jay Leno's car collection, man, or sign
yeah,
David's car
exactly,
collection.
exactly, man. So big thing with LiDAR is what we focus on is zones. So again, I make these zones and I can create any type of zone and know who's in it, or I mean, know if somebody's in it, when they went in it, how many people are in it, how quick they're moving through it, and all types of details and analytics from there. Here's a zone that we did for this certain customer in New York City where we did cautionary zones. So this is the planning tool. Those are fake humans we put in there as the planning tool to test it. We built this line, and again, by 2 centimeters, I'm going to know if somebody sticks their finger over that line. And then after that, we did the actual red zone from there, so we could stop tracks based upon the actual drop-in zone. We actually did some stuff in Europe where we threw dummies on the track and was able to stop the train and do the whole thing from there. So again, zones is big, and part of that zones is also doing, 3D zones and that volumetric detection. So for prisons, so again, I can make one zone, tell me when one guy walks in, make this other zone, tell me when 20 people walk in, or only tell me if one comes in and 10 more hangs in there, whatever it may be.
And LiDAR can effectively count, right? Because
Yes, it does people count. Exactly. It does people counting. The only thing it's not accurate at is a mass gathering together in a crowd.
yeah, they're
If 100 people
together.
glob together in a crowd, it's going to be tough for me to tell, how many people are there.
That would only work if they were spread out enough that you could get
Exactly.
separate reflections on each person.
Well, you can, like this right now is showing loitering zones. So again, I can set up a grid, make that zone, and tell me. I don't care if people are hanging outside the zone, but when they're in that zone, I want to know if they're lingering more than whatever, 30 seconds, 3 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I can get real detailed on where they go in that loitering. So I can make that an arm zone, all moving objects detected. Then I can get into dangerous proximity zones. This is something I worked on for HelloFresh. Is tell me how close people are to trucks. When a big truck comes in the parking lot, I want to be alerted if somebody's more than 2 feet from them, or if they're hanging for too long and 2 feet from them. So you get into the dangerous proximities.
That means I can layer zones too.
Exactly put
Layer
them all
1,
together.
layer 2, layer 3.
Yep.
Okay.
Get into heat mapping, same thing. I can do dwell times, heat mapping. Now, I'm working on projects right now just for marketing events for the Lincoln Center and the Pittsburgh Cultural Arts Center for museums. Love this shit. Okay, and really the thing is volumetric detections. I said before is not just when they jump the fence, but what happens when they get beyond the fence. So just showing you like a private or a setup where somebody breached the perimeter. And somewhere in here, we should get a lock on. Yeah, they're coming around the side of the building up there on the top right. So again, this is showing you where they are in the scene by up to 2 centimeters, where they're tracking, where they're going, and live video coordinated with it.
Wouldn't this be a great tool for a heat mapping? For example, if you had an art gallery, you could use this to
I'm
determine.
literally doing that right
Well,
now,
and
man. These
the
two, you,
determine what, how many people go to what exhibit, what's popular, et
that's
cetera, based on
literally
heat
what we're doing,
mapping.
man.
Yeah.
For the Pittsburgh Culture Art, they want to know if people go that way quicker or people go that way quicker, how
Yep.
long they sit in front of that artwork, and then they can determine where they need to move artwork or how they need to position it better, for
Um,
analytics, stuff like that.
I did a project that was never done with Sam's Club,
Okay.
where they were trying to determine foot traffic through the store, because they, as far as I know, they
Oh,
still don't know. That's a
yep.
You ought to find a way to talk to them, because
We could absolutely do stuff like that.
they were
Foot
like,
traffic, heat mapping.
we don't know if people are going right or left or
Yep.
straight, and if so, where do they go and how long do
Where do
they
they go
loiter,
next?
right? But this would answer all those questions for them.
It literally would, man. And again, it's cool because it has that privacy too. So if they don't want to be sharing, whatever for security, I can get just pure analytics from it. Let's
Intruder
see,
tracking, yeah,
intruder
that's
tracking, just a live visualization, what's going on. Then you get into PTZ piloting. So I could do point and click anywhere on the map, point to click, and then all cameras. Because again, I'm not looking to be a VMS, but I enhance the VMS and I sit next to any VMS. I like this one right here, managing a friendly object or access control integration. I got an arm zone. I got a guy walking up in the video or girl. They swipe a card at the gate. That disarms the zone. They're friendly. I got a friendly object in the zone now. We're good. I got unfriendly or undetermined coming in. They come up to the gate. They don't swipe at the gate. Click. Got them. I am your unfriendly object moving forward. I can track over 100 and something unfriendly objects in one scene like that. That
and
LiDAR is so precise.
and because you are integrated with ACAP and Synopi.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
Frame virtual environment.
this is neat. So again, I told you part of that planning tool is I know every LiDAR unit, what it can do, what the manufacturer says it could do, and what we know it can do. So big difference in that. It's cool knowing all that. And how you really start planning that tool is like this. So, all right, I want to, I import the map and let me just pick out a LiDAR on it. I, picked out this Alster sensor. Now, what I'm doing is there's going to be a guy on the right. I'm looking for this guy over the wall. At that level, I don't have my 9 beams of light to know it's a human. Well, let me just raise it up a little bit, man. It's not going to be X-ray.
There was a
Not going to be
wall in the way.
X-ray. Yeah, but I can now see over the wall and get my 9 beams of light on him. I'm getting 40. So again, not X-ray, but getting way better than what a camera can do. Then, want to talk about cameras? I'm a camera tool too. So I can even show you shading of what night shadows would look like as part of your virtual planning tool. So if you pick a camera, an Axis, a Hanwha, a Bosch, whatever it is, I know the parameters, and you can do not only night views, but it'll show you the exact field of view on that 3D map of what you'd be seeing from a camera view and from a LiDAR sensor view. So real cool on the planning. And then again, we do the camera, we do the LiDAR, and we bring that avatar into it. I just found out we can even change the avatar into different guys, and I think Sasquatch and all kinds of good stuff.
Who cares? I mean, any
I couldn't
avatar
live.
is a good avatar.
That's what I mean, any avatar. So we have a specific client who's been working with us for a while, even before Tactic Aware was bought by Hexagon. It's a high-end integrator. All they do is private residences. I think some of the ones I just showed you in here are ones they've done. And their only business is a Vigilon and us and Alster LiDAR. And they go around to rich people. And it's cool. On their website, it says, we tested out with a virtual intruder. We, do a 3D imaging of your entire facility. But yeah, I mean, there's integrators just doing that type of stuff.
It's smart enough to then be able to get this fucker to crouch to see if he.
Oh yeah, he crouches down. Yeah, he crouches, flips, jumps, rolls, and you can crouch him down behind shit there.
Okay.
Actually, when my engineer does it, he does it with the Xbox controller. Like we did the JCI show in Philadelphia a couple months ago. We did a scan of the Marriott Hotel, and the next day we had this avatar guy running around on the screen in the trade show floor, jumping on people's tables and shit on the 3D. So yeah, that shows you again your dead spots, your crouching spots, things like that. All right, systems integration. Today, how we do it is we sit side by side. So I would say almost all of my projects I'm working on today are with Genetec, or Vigilon, or Milestone. Some of them are with my own video. We have a deep level integration with our video, our DC3, or formerly QVMS. But realistically, Genetech on the left, me on the right, I would be sending alarms into Genetech. So I would send all the alarm data. I would send that picture of a 2D view into a tile. So it would receive a 2D view. The thing is, with any VMS, they do not have the 3D engine. They cannot do what I can do. So it has to sit side by side, but it interacts and works together with it. It's not to replace a VMS today, but hey, there's always future for that. Uh, we integrate directly with our 911 system. So we any city that runs our on-call, we can tie directly in with that. We're just showing just a couple more use cases here, but this is kind of showing you in addition to a fence sensor. So we're not looking, again, doesn't have to replace those other forms. You can have radar, you can have fence sensors, and then tie us in, but really have that true volumetric once they breach that fence.
How does each of those detectors connect to home?
It's set up just like a video management system. These are all networked together LiDAR sensors. So literally, just like you would design a video system, is how you design our LiDAR. Difference is you have to use a Linux server for the 3D engine, and then we have these little nodes that we have actually patented because right now LiDAR is bandwidth intensive. So we have patented a node to only send the engineers can explain it better, but to only send the pertinent data or the pertinent LiDAR that you need over the network,
But that
as opposed to just.
that sensor is so you're saying the lidar sensor is a camera, and I run
Well, the LiDAR
RJ45 to
sensor
it,
is
and
not, no, it's not a camera. The LiDAR sensor is not a camera. It interacts with any camera that's at that.
how
So,
do I connect it? You showed those lidar in MTA.
yep.
How do you connect those back to home? Are they just RJ45s? Do you use fiber? What do
Yeah,
you do?
regular network connections, just
Okay,
like I
got it.
said, just like a regular video system.
Okay,
Yep.
got it. Got it.
So. I have some. I can show you, send you out a like a network diagram. But again, we can go directly from RTSP from the camera, or tie in from video. I prefer RTSP because I don't need a third middleman of video to kind of slow up the process. Full light client and mobile client, same thing though. We cannot do 3D on a light or mobile client. It's only a 2D view. The power to 3D is in a full client.
Hmm.
And a little bit more in practice. So again, just showing you some scenarios here with like critical infrastructure, tying into video. You got more critical infrastructure. Prisons, I'll show you a separate live one from Oregon State Prison System. It's actually the largest deployed LiDAR system in the country, and we do all of them for them. Railway securities. Okay, the analytics are built into our software. So LiDAR has analytics, but we put in what we call deep detection, and it actually will detect deer versus human versus whatever it may be. High end onto the real large scale railway projects we can work on. Military sector type stuff. Public spaces. So again, these are like the Lincoln Centers I'm working on, that type of stuff. Now, this is what I like too. Not only are we the perimeter of a data center, but I'm the interior. So I've showed a couple data centers this where I can track every row in your data center, put the avatar in and say, hey, this row only worker A can go in from this time to that time. They can only touch panel 2 for this time to that time. So again, super granular on what we could do inside a data center with humans and where they can touch, what row they can touch. Those grids I showed you. I can make a grid on every single freaking box in there. We have rapid deploy systems, so we got stuff we can do military type sector, or this is something I've showed to like the utility companies. Actually, just got off the call with that consultant about this. They want to start adding it for temporary events, where we can go in and not having to do the full 3D modeling. We can quickly set up, a LiDAR type scenario here to do a rep. Oh, hold on, I'll show you. Come on.
That's all right.
So this is what it looks like once you get the. So something like that, like a raw image. You don't have to have that full 3D map or video. You can set up a quick LiDAR sensor with a pole to protect some outdoor areas. This is our helicopter we do for trade shows, things like that. All right, let's get into a couple of things you wanted to talk about. Drone dock integration. So any type of drone, I can tie into it. I can then, once the LiDAR sees an alarm, the LiDAR, our software will talk to the drone. The software will control the drone and fly the drone to the alarm point and then start streaming the LiDAR and the video from that drone back into the system. So drone dock integration, but something where you were asking mostly was drone detection capabilities. So we are detecting drones, we're detecting basketballs, baseballs, shit like that to be thrown over prisons, fences and whatnot. But this kind of shows you in a full 3D view, real drone detection here. Here we go. So this is the 3D mapping, and it'll show you the actual breadcrumb trail in the sky where that drone's coming from or we're going to, the speeds at where it is and where it is in space.
Okay.
So, threat level management, again, I could do any type of lockdown scenarios, based upon alarms coming in, shut off, make it workflows. And just kind of just touching on, just I talked about before, being able to really detect, using our software to detect objects, detect whether it's a deer running through a scene, whether it's a human in the scene. So what you're seeing right there is really what those other companies' LiDAR looks like. Like if you called Alster or Blickfeld or any of those partners, because that's the difference. We are the open architecture management with 3D. Other LiDAR companies use this, the raw data, the point clouds. It's the accuracy is there, but they just don't have that 3D modeling to add to it. Just, again, getting into the detection of deers versus, how we know things.
Okay.
And adverse weather, that's something, I talked about before, is really filtering snowfall, filtering fog, filtering rain, any of that type of stuff, or absolute, total, complete darkness. We have the tools built in to do that type of stuff. Because again, this is what we're looking at with LiDAR.
Yeah, of
That's what
course.
a LiDAR's, yeah. So really tells you the difference.
Okay. So
You got the idea,
I
man.
got
That was
the
the,
I got the
yeah.
idea. Now, let me why don't we let's switch directions.
Yep.
Um can I share my screen? Let's see here. Share screen. Will you let me share screen? I believe so. Okay, let me pull something up here.
All right.
There we go. Okay. So I know the website is the website is purposefully useless on
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I tried
on
to go to your website like a week
yeah, it
ago.
doesn't say fuck all, and that's obviously on purpose, right? And so how do I are you oh, here we go. Okay, let me just share this screen, that's easier.
There we go. All right.
Okay, so if I go to where's that Harvard presentation, here we go. Okay, you can see that, right?
Yep. All
Okay,
right.
so let me make it bigger. So this is what IntelliLight. That's what an IntelliLight looks like effectively, right? Is that this device? Okay, that's an Axis TQ1818 motor,
All right.
right? Which we're going to make our own. Nobody cares. That right there is a white LEP laser.
All right.
That right there, green, straight up green laser. Rangefinder, and each one of those is an angled LED. So this
All right.
is the industry's very first spotlight for security,
Okay.
right? That's all it is, a spotlight. Nobody else has a spotlight. They're all floodlights.
Huh. All right.
I mean, you look at any of the ones you and I would know, Raytech, Luminar, not a spotlight. They're all floodlights.
Yeah.
Now, it's got some smarts built in, but here's the bottom line. Harvard in the background. Harvard is afraid, as are a lot of people these days, of drone attacks.
Yep.
Their specific concern is a drone with a pound of Semtex loaded with BBs, right? Near crashing into the stadium. IntelliLight, that green laser emits at 532 nanometers a green spotlight, and that wavelength of green just fucks CMOS sensors all to hell and gone.
Okay.
It can do anything from blinding them to catching them on fire if you're close enough or have enough power, right? that green beam will reach out to 2.4 kilometers.
All right.
So let's imagine that, and I've already done this for Harvard, and I'll show you what I mean. I put this little thing together for Harvard, right, which is just a threat circle map, right? And
Okay.
it presupposes that I have 3 IntelliLights at those 3 locations, and those circles are 2.4 kilometers.
All right.
Now, in a perfect world, I want access to that design tool you had.
That's
Because
easy.
what I would be able to do is tell Harvard, look, if you had this sensor at
Yeah.
right next to IntelliLight, here's how far it could reach out, and then you'd be able to build. Let's say it was a kilometer, which I think is what you said was about the furthest.
To 200 meters.
Is that the maximum?
It's the maximum for one LiDAR sensor, but I can go unlimited, like, daisy chain or link them together. So I can do, like, I'm working on a project right now on major highway in New Jersey where people are stopping and jumping the fence and robbing the rich houses. So they want to cover like miles of this highway they're bordering. So yeah, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So the way to get to 2.4 kilometers, for example, you might find a building that Harvard owns in Davis Square up towards the top. You put a LiDAR sensor on it.
Yep.
You bring it back. Can a
Yes.
LiDAR sensor be rotating, or does it have to be fixed?
They are fixed, but they're 360. So we have 360 LiDARs or long range LiDARs. So they're not rotating. But again, the 360 will do a 360 view.
Okay. So I see what you're saying. What I'd want to be able to do is to say, you put the LiDAR here.
Yeah.
And because the LiDAR speaks ACAP and Tsunami, the LiDAR is capable of telling IntelliLight what to do.
Yes, essentially, like I said, because that's how it is right now with our other products that are integrated with the LiDAR is doing the speaking or the command and control for what's going on,
Right. So,
and combine with our software.
So at the first layer of interdiction, it might tell IntelliLight, just turn on a spotlight.
Yeah.
At the second layer, it might say turn on the green laser, or turn on both. Every light on there can do 3 things: a spotlight, a dazzler function, and a strobe light.
All right.
So whether it's and also interestingly, I just now thought of this. If it knows it's a person, it can also then make sure the power levels are low enough to avoid any damage to eyeballs.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because we will know it's a person, so we can send that signal and say, hey, this is identified as human, not whatever else.
Right. Human contact, reduce power to 25%, blah, 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 right? Because we don't have any detection or tracking capability built in at the moment.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. So right now you're not using anything to detect the drone other than a visual report or something like that, right?
The answer is actually nothing, because even if I see it, I still can't track it. Whereas you can see it, and based on your breadcrumb trail, you're tracking.
Yep. Yes,
you're tracking it in 3 axes in real time.
Yes.
And as long as the 2 devices agree on the location of
coordinates,
those 3 axes, right, then that LiDAR is constantly feeding IntelliLight with tracking info.
Yes.
Which also means that it's easier for IntelliLight just go and stay on target.
Yep. And then the software will talk to other LiDAR sensors if it's out of that 200-meter range. So again, the software will link together all the sensors. Yeah. So.
Right. And so that means that when I go, so the guy that I'm working, I'm sure you know him. It's Louis Barani.
I don't think so.
He was a World Trade Center security director from 1980 something. I think he was gone before 9/11, but I could be wrong.
Right.
But we're through him. We're doing Harvard. We're working with Major League Baseball, Port of Miami, some NFL football stadiums.
We figured this out, dude. Like I said, I did almost every NFL and NHL stadium with Genetech in the Northeast. So man, there's a lot of opportunity out there.
But what we don't know for each one of these stadiums is, okay, Harvard says, we love your stuff, but how do we detect the drone? Or what do you recommend? And in this case, I don't give a shit about the camera. And I don't care about the 3D thing necessarily either. What I care about
you need that data from the LiDAR sensor. You need that raw point cloud data.
So here's what happens. I take your Hexagon demonstrator that you just showed me.
Yep.
I don't change a thing. I just pull it up. I can print out things that it shows me. But the bottom line, I'm like, look, here's what happens if you're using Hexagon.
Yeah.
And because of their expertise, I can show you all the different LIDAR choices.
Yep. Yep.
Then I can call you and say, and Chris can walk you through which one blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Because this is a much better, so that presentation and what you're doing, my compliments. My compliments. That shit is brilliant. It's so much better than video.
Dude, that's what it is. I breezed through it, but dude, I'm telling you, everybody I show it to, man, people are like, "Holy shit, man! I've never seen anything like that in like 20 years." You know?
Because the only thing is 200 meters at 20 miles an hour gives us very little time. So almost every case you'd need a coverage map that allowed you to layer your coverage out to 2.4 kilometers.
Okay, 2.4 is your magic number then, right?
Yeah, and the military magic number is 1 kilometer. You have to be able to interdict and identify and interdict at least a kilometer for it to have a military application.
All right.
And your little mobile thing that you had, we're off and on because we haven't sent it to Delta yet, but it's going to go to Fort Bragg because they're looking at it for forward operations basis.
Dude, there could be a lot of opportunity. Like I said, my counterpart, Bill Eckert. Do you remember Bill from Variant?
I know.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was there like 25 years. He had the big Port Authority in New York was his customer. But he's with us now. He's in charge of our government group and also corrections. We just got off a call with the Florida Department of Corrections looking for drone detection and shit like that as well. So, dude, we could take this and fucking replicate it in not only stadiums, but in almost every goddamn correction system out there. Hexagon's biggest customer is Federal Bureau of Prisons. We got 30,000 cameras, and also the Oregon State Prison System. So, dude.
But now we have the opportunity to both detect and non-fatally interdict if you want to.
Yeah.
Because now we're going through all of it, but some drones, if you blind them, they'll RTH.
Okay.
Some are flying GPS.
All right.
Right. And there are ways to deal with the GPS side of it. But here's the bottom line. IntelliLight is designed to detect is part of it, but deny, deter, and delay. So I want to stop you from going, and if I can't, I want to make you go somewhere else, and if I can't, I just want to slow you right the fuck down. That's it.
I like it.
Right?
We're detect, command, control, collaborate.
That's
so,
right. But if you have a drone delivering drugs to a prison, your system can see it coming, but it can't stop it.
I can't stop it with that. I don't have yours. Yeah, I'm missing that piece.
That's right. And so all I need, if it's a security trailer, and that's a bad example, but you need a Hexagon piece and IntelliLight. That's it, right? And the broader the coverage, the broader the number of devices that are needed. Right?
Yeah.
So effectively what I'm suggesting is I need you more than you need me for sure, but I want to take your demonstrator and use it as how I
use that as the design tool exactly to sell it to your customers, man.
Well, they'll like what I'm showing, but the very next thing I'm going to do is then say, let me get you with Chris Ritter. He will walk you through the Hexagon side and tell you what basically the minimum that you're going to need to accomplish that image on the screen or something akin to it.
Exactly. And I don't care what VMS is out there. Again, I got my own video if they do need video, but that doesn't matter to me whether it's fucking Genetec or Vigilon, whatever's out there.
And in point of fact, if they had some cheap POS or they didn't want to switch or whatever, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And again, if they got something shitty and they want to, I'll buy it out for them if they want to too. So yeah, I don't care what they got, and if they need it, I got it as well. We haven't even talked. I got so many other pieces of my ecosystem too. It's crazy, for to help out with this.
I'm gonna have to see all of them eventually, but my point is, you can automate this to the point where it runs all by itself. And as a drone's coming, you're getting alerts and all that kind of shit, but you don't have to look at anything.
No.
So much so that your last line of defense, which is the guy with the shotgun, gets a beep or a page or however you do it to say go to post with your drone shotgun because you're the last line of defense.
Exactly.
It's stupidly strong. Stupidly strong.
let me show you one slide here. I'm going to steal the screen for a second because this is going to help us out too. Maybe later on is so. Oh, here's
Real-time data sources, yeah.
yeah, so
Change the
this is
image.
something, this is kind of, because again, my specialty of doing all the Genetech Federation sites, this is to go completely against Fusus and Axon, you know? So we can go in and have our Connect product, and we have integrations already to all the different video, but I also integrate drones and I integrate drones. So everything like this, and then I can do real-time data sharing. So say there is a temporary event, maybe we did the inauguration actually. We're the ones who handled the inauguration, a few months back, where we could do this, and we tied everything from DC Metro, DC PD, Capitol Police, everything was tied together. But we can take your stuff and also tie that in to Connect when we're doing like citywide surveillance platforms or something like that, and offer this as a service to cities too. Say, hey, we can go in with Connect. You can have drone detection using LIDAR. And also, if they already have our 911 systems from, we can tie that in as well and offer like a
The
real big comprehensive solution.
you showed the drone control.
Yeah.
Can a drone deliver real-time lidar?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the goal. So the drone is going to go up and start streaming LiDAR back into the system if it needs to from that alarm point that it sees.
So if a drone passes the 2.4 kilometer barrier, you could, in practice, launch a counter drone that was just armed with
Yeah,
lidar to go right at it and paint it.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, in theory, you could, absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
So what do I have to do to get access to that demonstrator thing?
I can get you the a demo. I mean, I can get you 90-day licenses at a time. I'll see if I can get you a longer range one. We just have to extend it. That's no problem. I'll get you a demo license for that. I can even set up a call with the sales engineering to kind of show you how to use it, which would be good because
Yes,
I need to
please.
learn how. I've seen a million demos, but I haven't seen my guy take it, because actually I have something too called Polycam. It's on iPhone 16 Plus. It's an app. It is a LiDAR scanner actually on my phone. I paid $199 for it, expensed it, and it's like our $60,000 handheld unit. I can do a quick scan of something, import that into our designing tool. So what you essentially, with if you don't want to spend 60 grand, you download this app, you go out to one of your customer sites, we do a scan ahead of time, import that image right into our designing tool, and then you show them exactly what their
I
site
have
would look
a
like.
I have the 16.
Good. Check out Polycam,
Polycam.
Polycam.
Okay.
It's not the best, but for $199 compared to $60,000 for purposes, I did a scan of the Marriott Hotel in Philadelphia with JCI. Like I said, man, we scanned it and put it into the design tool and had it ready for the next morning.
No, see, so here's the deal. Like, I'd do my house. I could
Yeah,
do the local football
yeah,
stadium, whatever. Um, the design tool that you showed me, that's an
yeah.
online access tool.
It's not online. It's a server. It's a server-based tool. It's the everything. So both all of our software is not cloud-based. It's all on-prem.
So in order for me to use it, I'll have to download it to my own system,
Yeah, exactly.
which
Yep.
is who
It's fairly easy, dude. Like I said,
Okay,
that's all
okay.
I can. Yeah, we'll set up a separate call with my sales engineer to actually show you, because it's really unique. I have a lot of integrators we did it for, and you're showing them how to import it, and it doesn't take long at all.
Yeah, I don't want any changes. I want it to stay
Yep.
branded Hexagon, yada yada
Cool.
yada.
All
I
right.
just want to be able to use it to show
Yep.
all of the things that make. So IntelliLight is a whopping $4,995
Oh, cool, man. All right.
MSRP, which
But
is
right now
not
though,
cheap.
it's standalone and it's really all it can respond, but it can't detect
Well,
right now, right?
so I'll give you an example of what we're doing. So
Yeah.
we're going into a demo with Hanwha for Tesla,
Okay.
right? The Hanwha camera, which is that NVIDIA camera they've developed, it finds the drone. It's actually not even for drones per se. It's for vandalism and destruction of charging stations, right?
All
So
right.
as a person comes in and it sees them, it'll tell IntelliLight, hit them with a spotlight
All
or
right.
hit them with a strobe light or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing applies if a drone's coming in and someone's system, it can detect drones visually or audio or whatever,
Yeah.
then IntelliLight would do the same thing. But we have to tell people, and we'll continue to tell people, we're not yet ready to do the detect. That'll be in version 2. And you and I have
Yep.
already
Yep.
talked about an OEM, you
Yeah.
can build it in, whatever.
Absolutely.
But it's right now, it's just as easy for me to say, better, No, IntelliLight can't detect the drone, but we have a close partnership with Hexagon, and what they're
Yep.
doing is they do all the detection. You have to get the LiDAR anyway,
Yeah.
whether you
Yeah.
buy it inside of an IntelliLight box, which is now twice the size, or whatever, right?
Yep.
So go with Hexagon, because look at, I don't ever want to do all this other shit, but all the other shit you just showed me
Yeah.
is astounding. Because remember the Google Map question? I can, that's what I would use in the demo. Here's
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
building, right? Here's a Google map of a 2.4
Yep.
thing circle, and then you drop in all the stuff. You can do that. You decide.
Yes.
We can help you, but you decide how you want to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. Actually, essentially, they can do it. Like I said, our tool helps them do it, and that's actually we promote it. Like, hey, a good end user should have this full digital twin of their building and start learning what they can do with it. You know?
Exactly right. But at
Oh,
worst, we can help them set it up for them or whatever.
yeah,
But now I've
absolutely.
got a ready-made solution for them,
Yep.
where Hexagon is so much more than just buying a LiDAR unit and
Yes.
something that helps them detect a drone.
No, nobody has an LMS, the LiDAR management. Everybody has a LiDAR. Nobody has an LMS. And that's, again, been my big pitch. It's just showing people what an LMS is compared to straight up LiDAR.
What's a quote average ticket end quote? There's probably not a good answer, but
Nah, man, you know it's pretty cool because I've done so because when you show this shit, it all depends on how deep they want to get into having those 3D maps. You know, do they want basic LiDAR or do they want the 3D maps? But let's take, for example, I did a data center for CoreWeave. This company CoreWeave has a data center going in Jersey. Genetec system. They spec'd out FLIR thermal cameras to add to the Genetec system. 25 to 35 grand per camera. Thermal, which is incredibly more accurate in thermal. So it was $1.5 million in just hardware for that project. I had an integrator said, hey, can you provide an alternate? I provided an alternate to an entire solution with servers, licenses, and the LiDAR units, 180,000.
There's what I
And
want
like
to hear.
normally I'd be like, dude, I'm a little bit more expensive, but 180,000 compared to 1.5 million, and I would offer a full 3D system. They were just offering thermal going into Genetec, you know.
Yeah, but now you're with that kind of price. How many nodes? How many LiDAR units? How many
That one I
licenses?
think was like just 8 or something like that. 'Cause that's the thing. I mean, I can do so much more than a camera can do. Now, a license for me is about 1,200 bucks for a LiDAR sensor. The software is around 15 grand. You know, but again, I can do one LiDAR and replace 10 cameras sometimes, man. So the price it comes in, man. I just did for next gen. I did a job the other day. I spec'd out another data center. I came in incredibly low. You know, I was actually shocked of again because when people say, it's a little more expensive, but not realistically when you look at how much more you could do with lidar. You know.
But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
if you say Harvard, you need 150 grand worth of LiDAR stuff, and then 10 grand or I'm sorry, 50 grand worth of IntelliLight stuff. But it's more than just drones, because now you get all the benefits of the stuff
Yeah,
you
you're
were
getting a
showing.
full 3D freaking thing of
Well, look,
Harvard at
you
that point.
showed me. Here's a safe space, right? And if a person walks
Yeah.
in and this, that, and the other thing,
Yep.
so it's not like you're just able to do this one little thing.
No, that's what I mean. We can show so many different outcomes based upon LiDAR to go into marketing, to go into this, to go into security. You know, we're working University of Virginia right now. We're just looking to protect the big outdoor statues they have in the courtyards. We're showing how close students walk to the statues, how quick they walk past them, if they're dwelling in front of them, shit like that, you know?
Maps for stadium, where
Yes.
people go, how they get to the stadium,
Yes.
just by walking
Yes.
from campus, blah, blah, blah. What's the design tool called?
Designer. It's literally Designer.
Designer. I was just looking on the website to see if it had
Yeah.
some info on it.
I'll send you some separate shit on it too.
Yeah, because it's not on the I can't find it on the Hexagon.
Are you on HXGN Security or Hexagon.com?
The security one?
HXGN, yeah, it should be on it. But again, Designer, it just probably shows as part of LiDAR Vision, you know. You see LiDAR Vision on the website?
I see DC3, Orchestrator.
Should be right there. Then.
Yep. DC3, LiDAR Vision. There we go. Yep. Use cases. Yeah. Free on.
Yeah, I'll send you a bunch of stuff, some of these PowerPoints and some shit too. You can check them out.
Oh, please do. And then,
what do you got anything on your device there? Do you got a PDF or anything you just shoot me?
Yep, I'll send it all back to you as well.
Send that over to me just so I can show 2 of my tech guys. Like, hey guys, this is what I'm looking to work on, and they may have some fucking ideas already. You know.
That's fantastic. And then the designer thing is, I have to be given permission to download. I
I'll
usually
get
send
you
you a
out a
link.
demo
Okay.
copy, dude.
Yeah.
I'll get my, yeah.
And if you want to do the engineering call together, let's do it. I mean,
Yes,
I
I
totally fine with
absolutely want
me.
to. Yeah, yep. I
Um,
want to learn how to do it. I've seen them show a ton of people. I've never showed it how to actually set it up.
okay. And as usual, and I'm sure you get it, but with guys like Lou Barani and these other guys, the sooner
Yeah,
I can get him on a call and be like, you got to see this before you go talk to Harvard and before you
yeah,
talk, the better, because I won't let him take it. I would give him screenshots on
yeah,
paper or something, but him seeing this means he can go in there and say, I can help you detect them. I can
yep,
help you create the zones for it, and I can help you interdict them.
exactly.
This is
Well,
really and
yeah, I'm available, dude. You tell me when you need me to get on a call like that. I'm gonna get you out a ton of shit in the next 15 minutes. But
okay. How'd you get to these
yeah,
guys, by the way?
Hexagon,
Yeah.
kind of unique, man. So I started the consulting gig, and last year, I was consulting for that Edge 360 guys out of
Mm-hmm.
DC,
Mm-hmm.
called Surveil. Go fuck themselves. And then yeah, they sold when I went to Costa Rica last year and didn't tell me. And I got back, and then I didn't know. I had a couple of my other clients, but they were my primary breadwinner. Bill Eckert, who's over here, and again, Bill was the Chris Ritter of Variant for years. He was there 25 years. I fucking competed against. I hated him. We competed against each other in New York. I was NYPD. He was New York Port Authority, and it was constant.
Oh yeah.
Met each other like 5, 6 years ago. Had a bourbon in New York, and we're best friends. So he left Varant after 25 years to go over to Hexagon. His buddy Jeremy Howard at the time was the VP over here. He's out of Houston as well, or Dallas. And Jeremy was with Avigilon, Hike, and a bunch of companies. I had no idea who Hexagon was. They called Bill's like, dude, I saw the shit you're doing with Surveil. He goes, we're good buddies. He goes, why don't you come look at Hexagon? So I met him and Jeremy in New York last June. They hired me as a consultant because I was like, who the fuck's Hexagon? And they're like, dude, we bought ONSSI, we bought Nice, and I just didn't have any idea how many customers they
Who's
had
Hexagon?
still underneath
Fuck you. We'll
Ocularity.
show you who Hexagon is.
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude, you got all this shit. So then I was like, yeah. So they hired me as a manufacturer's rep consultant for the first 6 months. And then, like October, November, I'm like, dude, you guys are taking 100% of my time, not paying 100% of my bills. I don't want to go back to work full time, but we need to figure it out. And they made me a nice offer to run everything in the Northeast. I came on board, and soon learned, and I learned in the first couple months, I don't fucking talk video at all, dude. It's like I got some really good video customers, and we got some big customer base, but dude, I'm not. My pitch is lidar and that Connect product and digital twins, and that's what I'm leading. And then if they want my video, great, I'll show them my video. With my video, I could do everything Genetech and Vigilon Milestone can do. They can do everything I can do. I'm not the sexy chick in the room right now.
What is
That's the difference.
what's the benefit of video? The only thing I could see is in post event prosecution to be able to identify a person, but
Yeah,
other than that, I don't see why this isn't just a better overall
It,
benefit.
it's kind of that's where I'm focused, kind of telling people, dude, like it's about LMSs now, not VMSs. And every integrator I go into, like if you're leading your conversation with VMS and access control, you're going to be left in a fucking dust. And I told that to people 15 years ago before I was with Genetech, I was with Panasonic, teaching IP video to people. It's like, dude, if you're not learning IP video, you're going to be left in the dust. And right now, if you're not learning LiDAR and 3D digital twins, and again, I call my integrator partners are like, holy fuck, we are literally going to switch our business model to start leading with doing digital twins as opposed, and then bring in security or everything else from that. So yeah, man. So I ended up here. I didn't necessarily want to work for another company again, but
Well,
hey,
it sounds
I
like you
like the
like
benefits.
it sounds like you like these guys though.
I really do like them. It's again, it's I sometimes I can't stand they're this big of a company and sometimes a little fucked up internally. Like the one thing I hate is we're probably one of the world's largest companies. You would think they would give me access to all the other divisions and users. I probably have a 500 end users within 50 miles of my house, but they only let me see my security people. I'm like, dude, let me go in and talk to all of my 911 guys. Like, I find out who they are and stuff, but I'm like, what? Give me access to our other customers so I can cross sell all my different shit.
Oh, you'll break that
But
wall down eventually.
yeah, it is, man. It's all about LiDAR. I'm just leading with the LiDAR. I'm getting excited about the LiDAR. I'm, enthusiastic about it. And showing people what it is, and that's
and
it,
price
man.
points are still coming down, and
No, they are. It's just like the beginning days IP video. Everything's dropping in price. You're going to see a lot more technology advancements, a lot more price dropping, and cool shit coming down the pipeline.
right
The
on.
big thing is though, we have this patent on that compression technology. We don't promote it too much, but it's crazy. These nodes that we put at the edge, it's a patent that Hexagon has to do LiDAR compression. So nobody else has that as well. It's
Like
pretty unique.
H.264 for
It's
lidar,
literally
basically.
that's for LiDAR
Yeah,
exactly.
well,
So
just remember that in this case, like the one thing we have to be able to effectively talk towards is how we can go further. If 200 meters is the natural max,
yeah.
how do we get to 2,000 meters
Yep.
or 2.4? You get the idea.
And
Which
again,
we'll
it's
figure it
just
out.
additional lidars and things like that. It's just then each day these lidar manufacturers coming out with more powerful sensors. So
That and I mean, the idea of being able to pop a drone up to create
yeah,
a moving barrier, if you will, a moving
yep,
line of
yeah.
interdiction is
Actually, could
amazing.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah, you just go boink.
neat stuff, man.
All right, brother.
I'll,
Well, it's
s-
good to see you.
ma-
Thank you. I'll
yeah, you
look for
too,
all
bro.
the
I'm gonna
emails.
send you out a bunch of shit
Me
on
too.
a separate hexagon. Get some large files, and yeah, send me whatever you got. And dude, this stuff fucking really sound like this could be really unique, man. And go out and cross sell to a shitload of customers, man.
I'll take you everywhere I can, up to and including all the military stuff that you're not in.
You're my partner, bro.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you.
All right,
Thanks, Chris.
Scott. Easy,
See ya.
man. See you,
Cheers.
brother.
Bye.